How do Chinese people see America's no-king protests? It's quite interesting to see how America's biggest rival looks at America's biggest political movement. 7 billion protesters in the streets, and the conclusion is simple. The US had already trapped in a loop. Trump is a democratically elected president. In theory, that means more than half the country backs him. But just a few months into his term, millions were already marching under the Low King banner. 5 million in June, and now in October, the number has ballooned to 7 million. 7 national protests in total in 2025. And what's changed? Nothing. Those mass protests have basically turned into giant street carnivals. In our view, US politics isn't serious anymore. It's a reality show. You may not believe it. Under the US propaganda, a lot of Chinese people grew up hearing that Americans own guns, and that if they ever faced tyranny or corruption, they could use those 420 million firearms to overthrow the banned guns and rebuild a clean government. But look around, Trump's still in office. Does that mean Americans love him? Or do they just like those street parties? We believe a big chunk of the new protesters are farmers. Why? Everybody knows Trump launched tariff wars, China stopped buying US soybeans anymore, and now farmers are even more furious because they voted for Trump. This whole situation just exposes a flaw. The American political system has no idea how to handle someone like Trump. The biggest problem is that the system elected Trump. Democrats lost power, so they are trying to find Trump's weak spots and mobilize different groups to sabotage him. I'm not praising Trump because he's supposedly the biggest Chinese spy. He's not a great US president and not even a qualified opponent for China. But objectively, he is the president of the United States now. In theory, the Democrats and all sectors should support him as long as he doesn't break the Constitution or commit crimes against humanity. But Americans can't even agree on how unconstitutional or against humanity means. Immigrants and non-immigrants are fighting each other, and the Democrats keep throwing fuel on the fire. We've heard that the magic of the US political system is checks, balances, and compromise. That magic is gone. American democracy has become an empty ritual. It doesn't solve problems anymore. It just speeds up the split. From a Chinese perspective, Americans are way too easy to govern. They are compliant. And you may not believe it, we Chinese people are much tougher because we care about the results. If life gets worse, the government gets blamed. Corrupt or incompetent, either way, people expect it to step down. If things get really bad, we revolt. Thousands of years of Chinese history are full of uprisings. Protests don't fix things, revolution does. Meanwhile, Americans call China authoritarian and imply Chinese people are passive subjects. But look closer, no matter how incompetent or corrupt the US government gets, as long as people are given the illusion of control over their government, they stay calm. A few big protests, some catching slogans, a vote every 4 years, and they convince themselves change is right around the corner. And when things go wrong, they were like, you voted for your president, blame yourself. Even if your choice turns out to be garbage, you still have to swallow it. Because you voted for that, blame yourself, okay? Here's the punchline. The two choices Americans get every election are like chocolate-flavored poop and poop-flavored chocolate. Pick whichever you like, either way, you are eating it. If you don't like it after eating, blame yourself, okay? But you know that people won't blame themselves because it's anti-human nature. They will try to blame others. At this point, those ambitious political liars show up and chant that he is the savior of the United States. Let's blame the immigrants, let's blame the homelessness, let's blame China, let's blame everyone else. He's gonna make America great again. Then you get Trump or another Trump next time. Follow me, an Eastern perspective to see the world.